Hello, good afternoon, good morning, and I am JaiDei, and this is another episode of Knowing and Growing, and I have my lovely co-host, Dr. Natasha Lamar of The Wives Inc. And today's topic will be about three things that a woman wants in a romantic relationship. And of course, this is at the broader level. So if you say, I don't want any of these things, well, okay. So, Dr. Lamar, based upon because I know you are a marriage and family therapist, so based upon your interaction with couples, and of course I do singles, so hear what women are talking about. What would you say are the three things that a woman is looking for or want in a romantic relationship?
Cool being. So listen, if there's a woman out there and these three things you don't want, call me, right? Reach out to me because I need to talk to you. So there are three things, and I like to call them ACT, right? ACT, right? And it is affection, right? Affection and attention. And then C, connection, wanting to be able to connect, to create this partnership with someone. And then time, that level of time and commitment, knowing that somebody is committed to being with you. Because I hear women say, oh, he just don't have time for me. And what I know is a man will make time for something that he really, really wants. So that's what I would say. I would say affection, connection, and time, which is that commitment.
I like what you're saying, and I'd absolutely agree with you. The connection and the time and the affection. And it can show up looking differently based
Right.
upon what the woman is saying, because I believe underneath what they're saying they want is something that's much broader, and then it fits in these categories. Now, I would like to add to that safety.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that one of the things that women are needing, or even wanting and needing in a relationship, is to feel safe. And when they feel safe, of course, I believe safety and trust are on the same coin or the same hand. So if I feel safe with you, then I can trust you. And if I can
mm,
trust you, then I feel safe with you. And what does safety look like? It could be emotional safety, right? Physical safety, mental safety, even spiritual safety, because these are areas that you can manipulate and exploit and dominate individuals. Even financial safety.
right.
So what do you think about those? Because I heard you go, ooh.
I just stole it, right? So now it's not just act, it's acts, right? Now it's affection, it's connection, it's time, and it's safety. And you said something and it resonated with me so deeply. When you feel safe, you can trust. You can't trust to be your authentic self. And I really and truly believe in a relationship. You will never have a really good, sustainable relationship when you can't be your true and authentic self. And when you're in a relationship and you got to be whatever your partner wants you to be, then it's not going to be a sustainable relationship. And when I think about trust, when you feel like you can trust someone, you can be safe. I feel like I think it goes a little further. When you feel safe, you can trust. When you trust, you can be safe. And when those things happen, that's when love show up, right? That's when intimacy show up. And that's why I got really, really excited because I don't know how I forgot safety, but you're right. Safety isn't just a physical safety, like I'm gonna protect you if somebody jump in the house, then I got your back. But safety, it can be emotional. And I gotta tell this story. We did a retreat a couple of years ago. This was way before the pandemic, and it was my husband and I, and we were doing this thing, and we were talking about safety. And a lot of men were like, if somebody come in the house, I give my life, or I give my arm, or I'll give my. And it's like the truth of the matter is, I know that this happens sometimes, but how often does a robber come into your house and the husband say, "No, take me," right? Or I think it's exaggerated, but that level of safety oftentimes never really happened. And it was so funny because of course my husband said what he would do. And I'm like, okay. We were on this, we were in a, like, is it called a canoe? But we were in I don't even know what river it was, but it was a category 4. And we were rafting, whitewater rafting. That's what it was. We were doing a rafting exercise with the couples, right? And so we're rafting. I don't know what happened. We hit a rock and I fell into the water. Now, this is what my husband did not know. When you whitewater rafting, the bigger the waves, it's an indication of the rocks in the water not being very deep. He didn't know that. That joker dived in head first, skinned up his chest. his knee, and to me, that was safety. He was protecting his wife. And I promise you, I fell deeper in love with him. So I tell that story to say sometimes protection can look different or safety can look different, or how a partner provides safety can look a lot different. And so I love that. I just took safety from you. So
Yeah. And I like what you're saying because when we're with someone, especially the older you get, a man um, figures out who he is. And then figuring out who he is, he also is aware of what it is that he wants to provide. Now, I do believe that men are hardwired to be protectors, providers, and of course, procreate, right? But first, you got to have something. So I think even procreate might come first because you got to have something to protect before. That's an aside. I like the fact that the connection comes from when the person feels safe.
mhm.
And as you said, when men are saying, I'll die for my wife or I'll die for my kids,
Right,
usually that doesn't always come into place. But
right.
what does come into place is, well, are you protecting her emotionally?
Ooh,
Are you aware of what she needs mentally? And and I think also as the other half of the relationship, am I communicating in a way that when you yell, because men have their voices are deep and they have stature, and so am I communicating when you raise your voice like that? I don't feel safe.
got it,
I
got
don't
it.
believe that you will hurt me, but in that moment, my animal instinct has shown up, and thereby it's saying this is not safe. There's a tiger or a lion in the room, and I need to take cover. So it's about communicating that, or even emotionally, like when you disregard my feelings, or
Mm,
when you say, "Oh, you too emotional," then that's saying to me, I can't feel safe with you
yeah,
emotionally.
right.
So those are a part of the things when I say safety, these are the things that women are saying that they need, or that they don't feel in the relationship, even though they may not come in
Mhm.
saying it exactly like that. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh my gosh. I think it's very difficult. I want to say impossible, right? I think it's very difficult to do any of the affection, the connection, or the time when you don't feel safe. Who wants to be with someone that's volatile or that is not safe for them? And you said something about safety. So I may need to rename this and call it sat or something. I don't know, because oh my gosh, I think safety is so important. But you were talking about two things you said, and I want people to hear this. I don't condone it. I'm just saying, depending on how you were raised, determine how you conceptualize certain things. And you
Mm.
mentioned something about yelling, right? For me, yelling doesn't bother me. Cursing does not bother me. I have some couples say, "Oh, my husband can't cuss me," and I get it. And I think it's cool. Cursing doesn't. Now, I don't mean calling me out, you know, being disrespectful in that manner, but to curse like that's some bull or what the heck, that doesn't bother me. But there are some women who don't like that, or even talking loud. Because the truth is, if loud talking is happening, it's probably me. Like I can even hear my tone going up now as I'm talking. So I really think it just depends on how you are socialized, or how you grew up. And then that protecting the heart. Listen, I want to say this. A lot of times men feel like provision is protecting. Now, let's be clear, it is a part of it, because if she worried about the lights getting cut off, she can't feel safe. But protection isn't just financial, like I pay the bills, I take the trash out. How are you protecting her heart when she say I'm scared and you don't I don't want to, or how are you protecting her heart when she's leaning out to you because she wants some affection, like some touching, not sex? Because every time you want a hug or a kiss, it don't mean you want sex, right? It doesn't mean that you don't. But how are you protecting her heart when she comes to you and she says, I miss my mom, or I miss hanging out with my girls, or how are you protecting her heart? And so I think all of that goes back into safety and understanding that as well.
I like what you just said. The protect. How are you protecting her heart?
Yeah.
Because that's the part that pulls women in. Like, I feel safe with this person. This is my person, and
Right.
that makes them want to continue to partner up with this
Ooh,
person,
I
which
like that.
speaks to the connection. I also wanted to say I like your acronym. Don't get rid of it, because I think people can relate to acronyms because I think sometimes they need bite-sized information, and then from there they can begin to expand. We just come up with another acronym. I also want to say one of the things that I notice is that men determine what it is that they want to provide. And I
Mm,
think as women, we have to really be mindful of what it is that this particular man has the capacity to provide, and not get tied into men are supposed to do this or men are supposed to do that. No, that's that's someone else's interpretation.
right.
That's like this universal, like a man is this and a woman is that. Well, no, there are a lot of women who were not built to be mothers, but they say women are mothers, right? Women are
Right.
nurturers.
Right.
So you have to create and leave space for how this person is showing up. And you need to know what you need as well. When you're clear about what your needs are, then you can see, okay, this is who this person, this is who this man is revealing
Mm,
themselves to be to me. And not just this man, it could be any person. It could, and this also can go with your friendships and your work relationships. Like, this person is showing me that I can feel safe with them.
right.
And so when you are aware of what it is that you need, but that's that part of going inward, that's that part of knowing who you are. And sometimes we don't know who we are as women as well, and we are
I agree.
attempting to make someone love us. We're attempting to contort and twist ourselves, like pretzel ourselves, so that they will then be all right with us and accept us. And that creates us not being authentic.
Right. Oh
And
my
and
gosh.
and so thereby we're not comfortable. We're not even present in the relationship, because if you can't be yourself in this relationship, then you're always on edge, because that fear, like, will they like me now? Do they? So I think those are some important things. Needing, know what you need, what that looks like, being present to what a man is really wanting to provide, and sometimes ask him, like, what is it that you want to provide? Because I like what you said. Financial safety is important, and if you know that's something that you need, and
Right.
that person is like, no, we're gonna build together. You need to work, and if I'm not working, and I'm not saying that this doesn't have to be a part of the formula. But if
Right.
you know that you want to be a stay-at-home mom, raise kids, provide a home for him, and he's saying something different, then you need to honor that and not force him, and
Right.
not then go, well, men are supposed to. No, this man right now is letting you know this is what he wants to provide.
Right.
What
Right.
do you think about any of that?
Oh my gosh. So I love this and I wish we had so much more time to talk about it. But you said something that I want to hit on is about being your authentic self. And my mama told me this a long time ago when I was a little girl. And what was so funny, as she was telling me, I'm like, but as I get older, it's like it sunk in. And she always said, you are enough. You are enough. Do not change who you are for anybody. And anybody that knows me personally know that I am a lot. And I love it. I talk loud. I'm loud. I'm always on a 10. And I've had people say, you talk too much. You just not my person. And that's okay, because I do talk a lot. And so when I meet somebody who embrace, they like, oh my gosh, I love when you come around. I'm like, this is my person. And so what you said is so important. When you're dating, you have to make sure that you're finding someone who adores every piece of who you are. And it's not a bad thing if someone says, I don't like quiet women, or I don't like women who have whatever. It's okay. It's okay. Accept it, believe it, know that who you are is enough, and it's going to add to someone else in another relationship. But I think, like you just said, sometimes we get stuck on, he has a good job, he come from a two-parent home, he's my man. But if he doesn't embrace who you genuinely are to your
Yeah.
core, then you are setting yourself up for failure. But I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna pass it back to you. If you don't know who you are, if you've pretzeled yourself, and I love that, if you've pretzeled yourself so much and you've lost your true identity of who you are, you will constantly morph into what someone wants you to be, and you'll never be enough for that, right? You'll be like a cubic zirconian and not a diamond. You're gonna crack under pressure.
I love that. And we are at time. Thank you for joining us today you as we know and grow in this segment of what do you need? What do three things? Well, I think we gave them way more than three, but that women need to be in a romantic relationship. We'll see you on the next time.